first early season cold front has just swept across the Midwest, dropping temperatures 20 degrees and producing impressive mature buck activity. The front's best hunting, however, often falls the day after it passes, when the barometric pressure is on the rise. This is team member Justin Luebrecht's favorite time to hunt his northern Missouri farm.
It's October the 4th. Mitch and I are looking to get into a tree tonight as we had a major cold front move through the area yesterday where the temperatures dropped to about 20 degrees. I was hoping to hunt on the east side of the farm in this box stand double set where I've been getting several pictures of that 6.5-year-old buck we call DT. But with this early on in the year with the northeasterly wind, I feel like that's too much of a gamble. So I'm going to go on a hunch and hunt the west side of the farm where we have hopes of seeing that wishbone buck where in years past he's showed up on that side of the farm on the cameras generally the later part of September and the early part of October. And with a northeasterly wind, that's going to make his stand bulletproof as these deer feed out in the sanctuary into these double crop beans and work their way over to us in this big and beastie plot. So with that being said, we're going to gather up our stuff and head to the farm. Well, it's October the 4th. Mitch and I are set up on the west side of the farm, about 150 yards down from where I shot Misfit, overlooking this big and beastie plot and a double crop bean field. We're back in here after that wishbone buck. He's a 5.5, 6.5-year-old deer that Tyler walked late season back on the big food plot. I know it had to be tough on him, but me and him both agreed if that deer made it past rifle season that he could turn into something special maybe this year. So he hadn't showed up on camera. He generally shows up later part of September, early October, and we got the perfect conditions for him to show up tonight. We had a cold front move in here yesterday, and deer generally, move better on that second day. So we've got a deer out there on the field already, so we're going to settle in here and see what tonight brings us. Come on, buck is in the turnips now. The first eight's in the turnips.
Justin watches as several bucks pile into his bean and turnip plots. It is a promising start to the evening, but Justin's top target is yet to appear. 205 miles to the northwest, Owen Riegler heads in after the buck he calls Picket Fence.
All right, we'll try and get an interview in here. I just got set up. Deer start showing up. We got 2 little button bucks and 2 yearling bucks right in front of me here. But anyway, the plot thickens for this Picket Fence buck. So 2 days ago, I hunted right here for him. This is where I passed him last year. And he was a no-show. So then last evening we went down and hunted that Wolverine buck, which we seen him when we were in the game. Had him at about 70 yards, but while we were hunting that buck, the Picket Fence buck walked 15 yards from this blind at 5 o'clock. I mean, that's what these weather fronts will do for you. That's why you don't wait to get daylight photos of these deer, because he hadn't been up here. I didn't have any pictures of him for, 7 or 8 days, nothing. And then this cool front hit, and my trail cameras have gone bonkers. The pictures have tripled. They've been massacring these scrapes. And if you wait for a daylight picture, you might miss your opportunity. But, can't be everywhere at once, so we had fun hunting that Wolverine buck, but Picket Fence was in here last night all the way up till about 2 o'clock. We had pictures of him. So I feel like he might still be right in here. So that's why I'm back here. We'll see if we can get an opportunity at him. got a challenge for you guys, hunters, non-hunters alike. I want to see anybody go to the field with a good attitude and respect for the game. You go out there and watch critters, deer, whatever you enjoy, and try to go back in a worse mood than you left. You can't do it. It's impossible. As the great Fred Bear said, it'll cleanse your soul. I love it more every year. It's awesome.
The action is steady, but the buck never appears. Recently, picket fence has been very active in daylight in front of Owen's cameras. Now the bow hunter fears he may have missed his best opportunity. Back in northern Missouri, the deer continue to pour into the beans in front of Justin Luebrecht's stand.
Mitch, that's DD. He just stepped out over there on the other side of the timber. What's he doing on this side of the farm? I can't believe it. DT. I can't believe it. There was no way in heck I ever thought that deer had showed up on this side of the farm. We've been picking him up on the east side of the farm all year. And I look up over there, and there, sure enough, I was like, there's no way that's DT. I can't believe it. My first hunt of the year. The day after the front, I tell you, I live and die by it. You've got to be in the stand. The day after a cold front. I'm 150 yards down. south from where I shot Misfit last year. Same field. Wow. Well, we just got back out here where we stopped earlier, where we tracked him about 150 yards to the wood line here. Went back and reviewed the footage. Looks like I've hit the off shoulder. So we're gonna ease our way in here and see what happens here. All right, here's blood.
Hey, just wait. Let me get you going over.
Okay. Y'all back out of the way. Yeah.
He's right there. He's right there. He's right there. Dempsey's talking about it. Oh, he did.
There he is. Oh my God. Well, tell you what, we didn't go, I don't know, 15 yards and here he was. We should have just kept going earlier. Wow.
Give me some, brother.
Well, as y'all could tell, we had a pretty eventful evening last night. We had a major cold front move through the area here on Thursday, and on Friday they were calling for a northeasterly wind, which was going to put us on the west side of the farm to go after that wishbone buck that we haven't had any pictures of yet. He generally shows up on the later part of September, early part of October. To say that I was shocked when this guy hit the field is an understatement. When I looked at Mitch and said it was him, he's like, there's no way, because we haven't had any pictures of this guy on this side of the farm yet this year. He read the script as he come across that bean field, and he didn't go 150 yards and piled up in the sanctuary. If you guys can remember, this story all started 2 years ago on the north side of the sanctuary where this guy battled it out with the buck I harvested last year. Fast forwarding to 2018, where Tyler had a couple encounters with him, and then on my first late season hunt of the year, I elected to pass him, being as I was in there after another buck. And then thank God I did, because it's allowed me to be sitting behind this 6.5-year-old buck we call DT. And as you all could tell tonight, he was kind of a bully buck as he was pushing them other bucks around in the field. And as Wishbone should be showing up any day now, this is going to allow Tyler to continue his quest for him.
Buck DT was a proven bully. Now that he is out of the picture, Justin and Tyler hope that Wishbone will return. The rest of their season now hangs on finding and hunting that deer. With the passing of the cold front comes a return to normal. Bucks are again nocturnal. It is time to play it safe, not forcing things when the bucks aren't likely to move in daylight. However, I've been getting a few borderline daylight photos of the bladed 10 in one of my best small plots. So on the evening of October 7th, despite a light and variable wind, I make the decision to hunt him.
We got settled into the stand. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this spot quick. It's planted to Frigid Forage big and beastie, but it's the type of area being completely secluded back in the timber where the deer come out at all times of the day. So it never lasts very long. The deer don't let it grow very well. In fact, just to prove our point, about 10 minutes after we got up in here, there was 2 does down in there feeding just on the lower end of the plot. We don't have a lot of choices as far as this coming next few days of being able to hunt this spot, but we probably should have gone someplace else just to be on the safe side. I don't like hunting my best spots or my best bucks when the wind is light and variable, because you can't predict where it's going to go. had about 45 minutes left of legal shooting time, and just had a real nice 4-year-old buck come out. He's a deer that we filmed several times during the summer, a buck that I filmed the summer before, the summer of 2018 too. And if he survives, he'll be a good target for us next year. But it was a good sign to see a 4-year-old buck on the hoof with an hour left of daylight. So we're hoping that that bladed 10 does the same thing. He's been showing up, I think, every single evening that I had the camera on this plot. He showed up in daylight. But that's been, like I said, several days ago since I pulled the camera out of here. 45 more minutes. I may pop in for one more interview before we close up this evening, because I've got a good feeling that we're going to see something else here pretty soon. Right now. I'm shooting him right down there. You got that? Shooting like right there.
Though it wasn't the bladed 10, seeing this great young buck got my adrenaline flowing. Though many more deer filter through the small secluded plot, the encounter with the wide 8-pointer is the highlight of the evening. The bladed 10 never showed up. I will be back after him in this spot very soon. The following morning, 70 miles to the east, Jared Mills busies himself with 2 tasks: harvest a doe and get more cameras out on the new project farm. This is a property where Jared recently acquired permission, and one that he hopes to develop over the coming years.
Alright, no does down, but it was a enjoyable morning to be in the stand. Nice and cool, and just a lot of activity with the turkeys, and I think we saw probably 6 or 7 deer, maybe a couple more, I'm not sure. But it's time to get down and get to work on these cameras, get these set up, and also do a card pull. So looking forward to seeing what showed up.
Jared puts out his Cudde Link cameras and then makes his way to the river farm for a highly anticipated card pull.
Marino. Sweet. Marino and Todd Gurley have been on it, neither have been daylight.
Is that the end of the camera?
Solid card pulls today. We had one new buck on the project farm, and I'm excited to get more cameras on that place. We saw some new fresh big rubs in there, so we got a couple of cameras set up in that area. I'm looking forward to that next card pull on that piece. Then we came here to Mike and I's farm to check cameras, and one familiar face, he's back, and he's on a couple different cameras this time, and that's the Marino buck, the JJ Marino buck that we were talking about last year, and the buck that we passed on our very first hunt 2 years ago in 2017. He's going to be probably our top target, if not one of the top 2 or 3 on this farm. We have another buck that we're calling Todd Gurley, and he was actually in daylight this morning out in the middle of the farm, but he's showing up on a number of cameras now too. So 2 of our top targets right there, and with this cold front coming this weekend, I think Mike plans on coming to hunt here, so hopefully he'll have an encounter with one of those bucks. Either way, this farm's looking good. No flooding this year. The food looks great, and I think we're gonna have some good hunts out here.
Daylight activity among mature bucks ebbs and flows with the temperature at this time of the year. As weather patterns return to normal, so does the hunting action. Unfortunately, normal means slow, but despite the long odds, several team members continue to hunt. Mike Reed starts his Iowa season focusing on a buck he calls Sherman, a big-bodied 10-pointer living on a farm he helps manage near his home. Jared Mills focuses on shooting does, filling the freezer and biding his time until the conditions are right to go back after the big deer. Owen Riegler took another shot at Wolverine with no sightings, and Josh Sparks sat for the big public land 10-pointer again, only to observe does and small bucks coming to the beans. As Jared stated, everyone looks ahead to the weekend. This is when the second major cold front of the season is scheduled to steamroll the Midwest. As the anticipated front rolls through, Josh Sparks plays his best card. He hangs a stand over the scrape that he watched the big public 10-pointer tear up when he was hunting the spot a week earlier.
Well, hey guys, welcome back to Midwest Whitetail. It is October 11th, and Max and I just got set up in the tree. We've probably been good to go for about 30 minutes now. And if you can't tell, we're right back to the same spot we've been the last 2 times. And today is the day that big cold front is rolling through Iowa. We've got temps about 25 to 30 degrees colder from yesterday evening. The whole idea of being here again, even though we don't have a great wind for it, is that this wind sets up perfect for these deer to come out of this bedding to our south, walk right into this field, the west wind in their face, and conditions are very similar to when that buck stepped out last week. And we're hoping kind of for a repeat performance. We were set up right over that scrape. We're about 15-20 yards away. So if that buck does step out here, we're gonna have a shot. So far our wind is staying staying straight, and it's blowing right behind me. And what I'm expecting is for those deer, and hopefully that buck, to come directly from our south. That is where he came from last time. And so I'm just going off of the assumption that's where he's going to come from tonight. Feels really good. It's just a matter of if all the cards fall our way. I mean, this is a marginal win for us, great win for him, and I think that's when we're going to be able to kill him. So hopefully by the end of the night we have a good story to tell and we can lay eyes on that buck one more time. One on the left's the bigger one. Can you get the one on the left? Yeah, he is. What? I just think it's too windy. It's the same one, you think? I was gonna say he might just do that again. That looks like it, don't it? Dude, the plan worked. What? This is the perfect time to call to him too. Well, it's 6:30. And it was just deja vu. I just looked up in the beans and there he was with another buck. And I thought we had it perfect. This wind's hitting us right in the face, and it was hitting us in the face the entire time he was out there. I mean, there is no way our wind is swirling all the way over there. And for whatever reason, they just trotted off back into that little timber. I mean, neither of them raised their tails, nothing. They just kind of trotted off into the timber. Max saw them, I wasn't even looking. We got about 45 minutes left. But just like last time, my gut feeling tells me I'm not going to see him again. Only this time, I don't know why. Crazy.
Another cold front and another encounter with the Big Ten leaves Josh wondering about his next move. 150 miles to the northeast, Jared Mills is also out on the evening of October 11th hunting the giant deer. Jared saw a great up-and-comer, but no sign of his target. On October 12th, Jared decided not to hunt, and after checking cameras he realized that he may have missed a perfect opportunity. The buck was on camera in daylight. It was the day after the cold front, and like Justin Luebrecht found in Missouri, it proved to be active on Jared's hunting property too. With the buck showing signs of daylight activity, Jared again hunts him on October 14th. The hunt produces a quick encounter with the only other mature buck Jared has on camera on that property, a big-bodied 8-pointer. After consecutive days of cutty-back photos, Jared has a strong hunch where the big deer is bedding. October 16th is windy, perfect conditions for sneaking close to the sanctuary. Jared turns into the wind and heads to a bean field on the fringe of the big deer's core.
Alright, another aggressive move on this big deer tonight. It's October 16th, and Grant and I found a small pin oak to hang in that's a little bit downwind of where we think this deer's bedding. The weather's great, a nice northwest wind. It's going to die down a little bit closer to sunset. But sometimes I have a great feeling about these risky, aggressive moves, and sometimes I'm wondering what in the world I'm doing, and this is one of the latter. I decided to do this tonight just because I want to hunt him on his pattern and not have to worry about where he's going based on a doe. So I figured my time is limited to be able to do that, and getting aggressive right now is my best chance at this deer while I know the area he's using. Man, I thought we were in the game right there. He came out right where we thought he would, where he's bedded. I mean, exactly in the spot
which was good to see, to confirm that. Not sure where he's going. He just pretty relaxed and he hid back in the CRP. I was gonna try just kind of tickle the antlers together. He was directly upwind, and it seemed like he didn't hear. I'll have to go back and look a little closer on the footage, because it's possibly heard. He just didn't care. I ended up hitting him a little bit harder just to reach him, especially with him being directly upwind. But I think he might have looked once, but other than that, he just wasn't concerned about it or didn't hear it, one of the two. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try to get out of here while we still have a little wind cover to get out, cover our noise, and sneak out and not do any damage. So we're gonna start packing up.
Man, all it did was confirm that we know where he's bedding most of the time. I don't have a game plan of getting any closer other than maybe moving in on the ground. The chase is going to continue. Hopefully we can get closer next time.
Rarely have we seen the first half of October produce as much action as we have seen this year. Too often, the first 3 weeks of the month are just a waiting time, a time to fill doe tags and slowly gain a feel for what the big deer will be doing when things finally break loose. But with Justin Luebrecht's great hunt in northern Missouri and Jared's consistent contact with the giant buck he is hunting, October has gotten off to a very fast start. And Josh Sparks will continue to hunt the big public land buck. Only Mike Reed and Owen and myself have been experiencing slower hunts. But some of this is by choice. Carefully hunting fringes and watching trail cam photos for signs of daylight activity, we wait for the green light. With the entire second half of October still ahead of us, it is shaping up to be a blowout month. Soon enough, Mike, Owen, and myself will find a working formula, and then we will become a bigger part of this story. Each day gets better now as more bucks begin to feel the impending rut. Their rising testosterone makes them restless, and soon enough they will be showing on the fringes of daylight, making their rounds and keeping an eye on the progress of the local does. We will begin to see the first stages of this much anticipated behavior during the second half of October. But it won't really hit full stride until the calendar page flips and we are once again chasing November.